All right, shalom, shalom. It's Brother Yatazadak, hero of Israel. I'd like to start off by giving honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Today we're going to go into Jeremiah chapter 31, going into the Hebrew. And Lord willing, you're edified. And as always, giving honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Let's get right into it. Jeremiah chapter 31, right in verse 1. Right, and it reads, right, so it says, in that time that is, saith the Lord, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, I will be for a God unto all the clans of Israel, and they will be unto me a people, right? It says, Ba'itha ha'haya na'am Yahweh ahaya, la alahayim lakol Mashapachta Yasha'ala Wahama Yahayawa Laya La'aim, right? Because that word I thought, right, could be used to denote either now or, right, I thought, right, or ba I thought in time, right? For example, right, the Apostle Paul said, right, in a certain dispensation of the gospel, right, Yahushua HaMashiach spoke about what? The leaven hidden in 3 measures of meal, right, which you could compare it, right, that 3 measures is what? Israel giving the law, going off. The return of the remnant, that which are called in Yahweh Shem Yahushai, right, when Yahushai came on the scene, right? And then you have the regeneration, right, which is latter days, right, which is the full dispensation of the gospel, right, which is now, right? So-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, right, raising up, calling upon the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, right, and faithfulness and truth, right, preaching the word, right, the apostles coming out on the highways and byways, the end being made manifest, right, all these things which must come to pass, right, and we understand, right, as a hopeful elect, and we say that, right, with grace, right, that we hope to be delivered in that day, right, and like the scriptures say, right, their works will follow them, right, so this is why, right, we strive, right, to get that crown of life, right. Jeremiah 31 and 2, it reads, thus saith the Lord, right, they who have found grace in the wilderness, the people that have survived from the sword, right, those that went so it says, when Israel was marching homeward, which is not what necessarily that means, right? Now let's go into that, but first let's just read the Hebrew. Ka Hamar, or Salak Ka Amar Yahweh Mataza'ah Chana Bama Dabar I'm Sharyadia Harab Khalak Laharag Yayawa Yasha'ala, right? So that word Regai, all right, let's get that real quick. That word regai means to wink or to blink. In a moment, to be calm, to be at rest. Slakia. So it basically means right. So it says, thus saith the Lord, right? It says, they have found favor in the wilderness, the people that have survived, right? Which is we're in the spiritual wilderness, right? Which is right, also spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, right? Because our people are going around in circles, right? Our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. But the hopeful, the hopeful remnant, which are the elect, right? They're going to find that grace, which is what? Knowing the Lord's judgment, knowing, right, that there will be an end unto the wickedness of the earth, right? Those that will survive ultimately the sword, which is Esau, right? Edom coming down with great wrath, right? Now some of us will be put to death, right, to magnify the Lord, right, to show his great wonders, right? Those that went, right, it says halak, meaning to go. Ha regaya I wa slaga la ha regaya wa yasha Allah. Those that went, right? So it says instantaneously, right? That's essentially what that means, right? Or in a moment, right? Because the scriptures say that, right, the elect will be changed in the blink of an eye, right? The Apostle Paul said that let's get that real quick. He did not strive with blood, right? Because, right, when he found out what the Lord instructed him to do, he did not strive with the Lord, right? But he went and preached the word, right? And woke up many, right? Salakia. Bible Hub. That's not it. That's actually I believe that's Galatians. I'll have to look that up. Salakia, just bear with me. Galatians. Salakia. Salakia. I believe that's in the book of Ephesians. Yeah, that's Ephesians. Look, yeah, I have to get that because it's a good precept to bring out. Might be Corinthians. Or it might be Romans. Strive with flesh. That's not it. Okay, so let's see. Galatians 1:13. Damn, I really want to get that now. Might just have to type in Romans or something to that effect. Nope. Let's look up Ephesians. Has to be one of those. Ephesians. Man, that's kind of bugging me. Corinthians. Alright. So Lord willing I find it, but I might post it in the comment. section. I don't want to take too long on that, right? But the Apostle Paul, he essentially said that when he was given the understanding, right, did not strive with the flesh or something to that effect, right? And he went out and preached the word, right? Salakia. So, right, the remnant, those that receive this word, are immediately going to understand what's going on. Jeremiah 31:3. Afar off has the Lord revealed himself unto me, right? And an eternal love, right? In which I have loved thee upon so, right? My loving kindness is drawn out unto thee, right? So it says, Marachak Yahweh Nara'ah Laya Wa Ahabath Iwalam Ahabath Yaka Alkan Mashakat Yaka Chasad, right? Because that word mashak means to draw out. Mashakat Ya means I have drawn out. Mashakat Yaka mean I have drawn thee out. And so on and so forth, right? Which is by receiving this word, right? And any way, shape, and form in which you are to receive the fact that, right, you know that you're an Israelite, right? That you have to repent, that, right, the Charagma is coming, destruction is coming, right? The British are coming, right? Jeremiah 31:4. Again I will build thee, and thou shalt be built, O virgin daughter of Israel. Iwad Abanka. Wana Banyath Batawalath Yashra'ala. It says, again, thou shalt even, with timbrels, thou shalt even, right, with your timbrels, right, and thou shalt go out and dancing, in joyfulness, right? So it says, Iwad Tha'adya Thap Yaka, right? Because that word thap means, or thapa meaning timbrel, right? The ya makes it plural. The ka means your timbrels. Waya taza'ath, right? Ba machawal. The word chawal means to twirl, or in the sense of dance, right? Ma shachakim, right? Look at that word shachak. It's like, yeah. I think I clicked that on the page that I had previously pulled up. Just bear with me. That word shachak. So like, yeah, let's get that real quick. Jeremiah, what's that? Verse 4. Khan. Right, Shachak, right, which is what Isaac's name is, right? Tazachak or Shachak, which is the same, which means to laugh, to make sport, to joke, right? Because the book of Psalms says what? That we shall wake up as if it was a dream, right? It's going to feel like a dream when the kingdom of heaven, right? Let's get that real quick. So there's our cognates as well. Tazachak, Shachak, right? As if it were a dream. A dream. It was all a dream, you know. Psalms 126. When the Lord turned again the captivity of Zion, we were like them that dream, right? Even for the 2/3, right? Because they're going to be destroyed, but they're going to be all right, right? And it's not going to be all right for us, right? For now, right? But the Lord is going to see to it, right? Like Abraham, or Father Abraham said, right? Where he made the altar and he said, Yahweh Yara'ah, meaning the Lord will see to it, right? Scriptures say, call no man father, but that's talking about, right, man worshiping, right? We don't man worship, right? We worship Yahweh Hashem El Shai, right? Creator of heaven and earth, right? So you have the Syriac Sachak. I don't know about the Ethiopic, right? To joke, to jest, to play sport, right? To dance to music, right? Yahweh Shai said, right, there you go, Tazachak, Shachak, right, cognates. The Lord said, blessed is he who, or actually one of the Pharisees, I believe, they said unto Yahweh Shai, blessed is he who eateth bread in the kingdom of heaven, right? Jeremiah 31:5. Again thou shalt be planted. Again thou shalt plant vineyards in the hills of Samaria, and and surely thou shalt plant them and harvest them, right? Which it says enjoy them, but that word halal means to pierce or to harvest. So it says Awad, Tataya, Karamium, Baharia, Shamarwan, Nataiwa, Natayim, Wa Halalwa. The word halal means to profane as well, right? In Samaria, right, it just means a hedge. Shamyar or Shamar, right, which means a thorn hedge, right, which is what the shepherds of old used to use, right, to keep the wolves out, right. Jeremiah 31:6. Because there will be a day in which they will call the watchman upon the mount of Ephraim, which will rise up, which will rise up and say, let us ascend unto Zion, unto the Lord our power. Kaya Yasha, Yawam Kwaraawa, Natazarium, Bahar, Aparium, Kwamwa Wa Na'ila, Taza Yawan, al Yahweh Allah Yanawa. Jeremiah 31:7. Because thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, cry out unto Jacob for to rejoice and to be delighted upon the mounts, upon the head of the nations, for them to hear the praises, his praises, and say, salvation is on, the salvation of the Lord is unto your people, unto the remnant of Israel. Kaya ka amar Yahweh ranwa la Yaquab shamacha wa tazachal wa baraash hagwayim ha shemaya wa halal wa amar wa hawasha Yahweh ata imka ata sharyath yasha'ala. Right, because that word rana means to cry out or to shout in joy. Right, let's look at that word tazachol. Right, Salakia. Which is an expression, right? When you're glad, when you're happy, you have that you're enlightened. Your faces, your countenance is shining. Or you have that look, right? Which that Jake, that's Jake. They got that salt. Because that word tazahal means to shine. It also means noonday. Because that is when it also means oil, because that's when you light your lamps. When you lit your lamps back in the ancient days, right? The noonday, because you knew the sun was coming down. You knew, right? That was your time of intermediance, of rest, or whatever the case may be, right? It says tazahal, to gleam, to be cheerful, right? To rejoice, make to shine, to shout, which is to neigh. It also means to neigh, right? Which is what the horses did, right? I'm not going to make that sound, right? I think it was, because that was a happy expression, right? That's what Jake, right? That's our expression that we have. Ah, shit, right? Or whatever, to neigh, which is the Arabic says tazahal, Syriac tazahal, same, right? Nay, cry shrilly, even in distress, right? In certain cases. To shine. The root is tazacha, which that's not the case. That's not what it's talking about. Because tazacha is like that's talking about a glare in a sense, right? Which is really, yeah, you can kind of get the point with that. Get the point across with tazahal, because it's like a happy glare, right? It just means like to be happy, to be in the mood, right? Upon the mountain of the nations, right? Which is Isaiah chapter 13, going to the gates of the nobles, right? Cause them to hear the praises, his praises, right? Because the name is being given out. Salvation to the Jews, right? Which is, right, Jake, right? Those that need salvation. These other nations do not need salvation, right? Yahushai said salvation is of the Jews, right? Simple as that. which are the Israelites, right? Right, and say, right, save, O Yahweh, unto your people, to the remnant of Israel, right? Jeremiah 31:8. Behold, I will bring in unto them from the land of the north, right? Hananiah Ma'baya Atham Ma'ratazah Tazapan, right? Because the Tazapan, right, just means the cover to, right? Figurative of the north, right? You also have Shama'al, which means the north, because the east is the east, right? Facing the east, to your left is the north, to the right is the south, which is Yamyan or Negeb, right? So there's various ways to say it, right? And it says, and that word Hana, right, meaning behold, but it also means here or there. In this case, it means there. There I will bring them in, will bring them in from the land of the north, right? Like Abraham, like Isaac told his father Abraham, my father, where are you taking me, right? And Abraham answered him, behold, here am I, my son, right? He said, right, Hananiah, right? Here am I, right? So it says, and will gather them from the sides of the land, right? So in this case, meaning from the ends of the earth, because that word Yarak means the side or the thigh. Um, there's also another way to say the side figuratively. I believe that's kasal, which is talking about the flank of the animal of an animal sacrifice, but figuratively the side of man as well, because we have a flank as well. We have kidneys, right? Which is another lesson, another time for another. Or Salaki, that's it's going into another lesson. But so it says, and they will be gathered from the ends of the earth. Wa qua batazathium maya rakathia arataza. So it says, among them that are blind and lame, those that are brought forth, right? Which says Bama Iwar Wa Pasach Hara. War meaning blind, Pasach meaning lame. Of those that are brought forth, Hara meaning to conceive. Wayaladath Yachadwa, and those that have brought forth, as in to conceive children, as in those with children together, Yachadwa. Quahal Gadal, meaning an assembly great, a great assembly, right? They shall return there, Yashawabwa Hana, which is that is for the justification of Hana, meaning here or there, because, right, it's not going to say great assembly, they shall return, behold, right? So that's right. It takes a while to understand these things, but right. Um, let's get that in the book of Revelation, right? Which is talking about a remnant, right? That's in Isaiah chapter 10, right? Second Ezra chapter 13, right? Let's get that in the book of Revelation. Slakia. Um, Revelation chapter 7 and 9. And after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. Right? And they cried with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to our God, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. Right? That's the great multitude, right? Of the remnant, right? Men, women, and children, right? Receive spiritual power, right? Be delivered before the destruction, right? Of course, you're gonna have, right, the those that will be martyred, right, for this truth, which in martyr just means to witness. It just means witness. It's a Greek word, right? Because, right, some of us will be put to death for witnessing, right, Yahweh Shem Shai. And that's all right, because the Lord is in control, right? In Jeremiah 31 and 9, in weepings they shall enter, and in mercies I will lead them, and I will cause them to go unto the streams of waters, right? Ba'abakia, Yaba'awa, Waba, Tha Chanayim, Bayalam, Alayakam, Al Nahalya Mayam. Right? Streams of waters is just basically that's metaphorical for tribulation, right? Getting the understanding, right? This truth being sweet but yet bitter, right? Because tribulation, right? There's a certain you have to count the cost, right? When coming into this thing, right? You got to be prepared to forsake, right? Your land, your family, your right kindred and whatnot, mother, father, right, and bear your cross, right? It says in the way straight, right, which is this is a straight and narrow way, right, of Yahweh Shem Shai, in which they will not stumble, right? Badara Kishar La'a Yashakal Yakashalwa, what Kashal means to stumble, upon it Baha. So it says, because I am unto Israel a father, and Ephraim is my firstborn is he. Kaya Haya Yathaya La Yasha'ala La Abba Wa Aparyam Bakarya Hawa. Right? So let's see how many more verses we got left. Alright, this one's gonna be a doozy. That's alright. Jeremiah 31 and 10. Hear the word of the Lord, O nations, and tell it unto them upon the isles afar off. Shemai wa dabar Yahweh gawayim waha gayadwa ba ayayam, because that word ayah means an island or isles, plural ayayam. Rachak afar off. And say, He that scattered Israel, he would gather them, and would say unto them, Salakia, and will keep them like a shepherd to his flock. The word idar means flock, but it literally means a drove, right? Because the word for flock actually means it's taza'an, but you can use it as the word for flock in this case, right? Because context supersedes etymology. So it says, Wa amar wa mazara yasha'alu wa kwabataza nawa wa shamar wa karaya idar wa, right? Because that word raya, it means neighbor, but it also means shepherd. Ma raya means pasture. Jeremiah 31:11, because the Lord will preserve unto Jacob and will buy back him from the hand of he that is stronger than him, right? Because that word pada means to redeem, but it literally means to preserve, right? So either or, right? Because Ga'al, right, it means to redeem as well, but it literally means to buy back. So you understand what I'm saying. So it says, Kaya pada Yahweh ata Yaquab wa Ga'al wa mayad chazak ma manawa. And they shall come and shout from the heights of Zion, right? And right, will be radiant unto the goodness of the Lord, right? Wa ba'awa wa ranawa ba marawam tazayawan wa naharwa al tawab Yahweh. Let's look at that word nahar. I believe that just means it's another word. It's another way to say what's that, river? Or it's another word for a war. Salakia. So yeah, it just means to flow together. Right? Just like that word awa awabayal or abayalam, when the Lord said I would lead them, right? Because means I, bayal means to flow, right? In the sense of to lead them. Right? So this is in the case of they will flow together, right? Because Nahar means a river. Right? A river, it flows in one direction. It's led in one direction, right? We're all going to speak the same thing, right? If you're speaking 100% truth, right? And those that don't, right, the Lord is going to judge you, right? These other camps, right? And I speak as a man when I say that your only saving grace would be that you're actually teaching what the charagma is, right? So it says, So it says, they shall come and shout upon the heights of Zion, and will lead them into the goodness of the Lord, upon corn, upon the new wine, and upon oil, and upon the sons of the flock, and cattle. And their soul shall be like a satisfied garden, and they will not again mourn anymore, right? Al Dagan wa al Dayarash wa al Yatazahar wa al Banya Tazaan wa Bakwar wa Hayatha Napasham Kagan Rawa wa La'a Yasayapwa La Da'aba Iwad, right? Let's look at that. Verse 12, Dagan, right? It says wheat, but generally it means corn or meal. Salakia. Right, because that's what you get out of wheat is and other plants, right? Corn, meal, grain, basically grain. Then you have garan, which means threshing floor, right? Which is where you thresh the grain out of that plant. Tayarash, meaning new wine. Tazahar, meaning oil, right? Which is another word for oil, is shaman. Let's look at that word rawa, means to satiate. Which I have it right here. Salakia. Rawa, to satiate, to saturate, right? Or to satisfy, which is another word which shabai literally means to satisfy. Rawa just means to satiate or to saturate. It's another word. It's another way to say satisfy. Ta'ab. Let's look at that word ta'ab. Ta'ab. Which means to be sleek, figuratively to mourn, for example, by tears running down the cheek, which I believe the literal word for tears, let's get that, is damai, right, meaning to cry, figuratively liquor or juice, which is squeezed out, right? So, right, figuratively, right, which is ta'ab, daba, or dabab, to be sleek, to mourn, right, by the running down of the cheeks, right, or to have a smooth gait, to live smoothly, right? Which that's not the word for languish, right? It's a different word. Jeremiah 31:13. Then they shall rejoice the virgins in dance, and the young men and the old together. And I will overturn their mourning. I will turn their mourning into joy, and will comfort them, and they shall rejoice instead of being grieved, right? Which is as Thashamach Bathawala Ba Machawal wa Baharium, wa Zaquanium, Yahad wa Hapakathia, Abalam, right? The word hapak meaning to overturn or to, right? Abal means to mourn, which is Salakia. Abal. Salakia, to lament, right? Shash means to be joyful, which is just another way to say gal, which is another way to say joyful, right? Which is basically the same. It's basically the same thing. Like I said, the sha and the ta sometimes it's written right that way, right, to kind of give you the context, right? Nacham meaning to comfort or to repent, right? That word ma yaganam, that word is yaga, the root meaning to means grief. Jeremiah 31:14, and I will satiate the soul of the priest with fatness, and my people with unto my goodness, and they will be satisfied, saith the Lord Yahweh. So it says, Wa Yathaya Napash Hakhanyam Dashan Wa Amya Ata Tawabia Yashabai Wa Naam Yahweh. Right, because that word Dashan means, right, fatness, but it literally means fat ashes, right? Jeremiah 31:15, thus saith the Lord, a voice in Ramah is heard, it says, woe, doleful weeping, ka amar Yahweh kwal ba Ramah na Shamai, Nahaya Bakia, because that word Nahaya just means woe, right? Or right, basically lamentation, right? Or right, doleful, right? In this case, doleful weeping, Nahaya Bakia. Let's look at that word, Jeremiah 31:15. Which you can compare with Hawaii meaning woe, which means destruction, or Hawa meaning to fall, right? Which is essentially the same thing, right? So it says Nachaya, lamentation, right? Let's look at that word Strong's H5092. Lamentation, a song of wailing, right? To wail, to lament. Which, like I said, it just goes to that word Hawaii, meaning to woe, doleful, or right, a destruction or a fall. Right, bitterness, tha mararium, Rachel, weeping upon her sons or her children, Ma Baka Albanya, which she refuseth to be comforted, Ma Ana Lacha Nacham, upon her sons, Albanya, because they are no more, Kaya Ayanawa. Right, that happened in time of the ancient Roman Empire, right, when Herod, right, slayed the firstborn, right, which that proves that Rome is ancient Egypt, right, and America, Babylon the Great is Rome and ancient Egypt, right, so it all links up, right, and Esau knows that, and he shows that in his money, right, in his architecture, and his written coded law, right, which is after the Greek Roman manner, right? Let's see how many more verses we got left. Okay, we can do that. So we're at verse 16. Salakia. Verse 16. Thus saith the Lord, refrain your voice from weeping and your eyes from tears, because there is a reward for your work, saith the Lord, and they shall be returned from the land of the enemy, right? Ka Amar Yahweh, Manaya, Kwalka, Mabakia, Wa Ayanyaka, Ma Damaya, Kaya Yasha Shakor, La Payalatka, Naam Yahweh, Washabwa, Ma Arataza, Awayab. Right? Manai means to refrain, right? Damai means tear or tears. Payal means to do or a work, right? Which is laboring in his word, right? That's what we do in hopes of being returned from the land of the enemy, right? Jeremiah 31:17. And there is hope for your latter end, saith the Lord. And that shall return your children unto their border, right? Wayasha Thaqua La Haryathka Naam Yahweh Washabwa Banyam La Gabalam, right? Jeremiah 31:18. Surely I've heard Ephraim, right, bemoaning himself, right, because that word nawad just means to move to and fro, right? Because it says in the book of Genesis that Cain was a Salakia wanderer. That word is nawad, right, and a vagabond, which is, I believe, is nawai, right? But in this case, just means to be distraught, right, troubled, right? Because that's what the people are going through, right? The curses, right? Ephraim, that's talking about the northern kingdom, right? Because they went off the, right? None of the northern kingdom kings were righteous. They all went off, right? And right, northern kingdom is right. I mean, Jake is messed up, but we're messed up too, you know. So it says, Shamayathia, Aporium, Matha, Nawadad, Yasarath right? Which it just says, thou hast chastised me, right? Because that word yasar means to rebuke, right? In this case to be chastised, right? Because that's what you do with rebuke. You get chastised, corrected, right? And it says, and and I have turned back like a calf which has not learned, right? Therefore I shall return, or Slakia, therefore turn me back, and I shall thou return, because you are Yahweh Shemel Shai, my power, right? So it says, Wa Asar Ka Igal, which a calf is just like a cow or a bull, young cow, young bull, right? Which has not learned, right? Because people have not learned, right? So we're saying, right, those that receive this understanding, we're saying, turn us back. Turn back to captivity, right? So we can return, right, to righteousness, right? So it says, Wa asar ka'igal la'a lamad ha shabnaya wa'a shawaba kaya ata Yahweh alahaya, right? Jeremiah 31 and 19. Because backwards I have been turned, because I have been turned back, and I had repented, and turning back I have known to strike upon my I have to strike upon my thigh, upon the thigh, right? Kaya achorya shawabya nachamathia wa achorya ha daya sapakthaya al yarak, right? Because achor means, right, to back or behind, right? Achorya shawabya meaning to turn back. Right, like I said, nacham means to repent or to be comforted. Sapak means to strike or to clap, right? So it says, in my shame and even in my disgrace, right? And that's part of repenting, right? Is knowing that you went off, right? And right, receiving, right, the understanding, right? And turning onto the light of the Lord, right? So it says, Pashathia Wagam Nakalamtaya, because the word kalam means disgrace. Bash or bawash means shame. It says, because I bear the reproach of my youth. Kaya nasha'athia, harapathia, nayarya, right? Nasha'a means to bear, to lift up. Harap means disgrace, or salakia, to blaspheme or reproach, right? Nayar means of the youth, or youth, right? Jeremiah 31 and 20. he is a son precious unto me, Ephraim. Lo, he is brought forth. Lo, he that is one that is brought forth, joyful, right? Haban Yakwayar Laya Aparim Am Yalad Shashayim, right? Because that word Yakwar means precious, right? Shaya, right? It means, right? It's another way to say joyful, right? Or Shawai, which means salvation, but it also means to cry out, right? But in this case, it's talking about a swaddling child, a child that is crying from joy because he was brought forth, right? Because we were given the law, statutes, and commandments, right? We have salvation, right? We received a goodly heritage, right? But we went off, right? Let's see what else we can get. No, I wrote that down. Because it says, Kaya Madaya Dabar, which means because from the time I have spoke unto him, right? Surely I have remembered him, even upon so, even upon so, right? Upon him, my bowels unto him were of compassion. Or Salakia, my bowels, or Salakia, were disquieted my bowels unto him. Right? So it says, Kaya Madya Dabarya Bawa Zakar Azakar Nawa Iwad Alkan Hamawa Maya Lawa, right? Because it basically says, because since I had spoke, because that word Madya, it means from or since. The root is madad, meaning to measure, right? In the case of a measuring of a certain time, right? Because since I had spoke, right, upon him, right, peace. Surely I have remembered him. Even upon so, which is Iwad al-Khan, it says Hama, meaning to disquiet. Maya, meaning the bowels. So, right, the Lord is saying, my bowels were disquieted unto him, right? I mean, he was moved, he was stirred up, right, for the northern kingdom, right? So it says, surely I shall show mercy unto him, saith the Lord, which is Raham Nawa Naam Yahweh. Jeremiah 31 and 21, it says, set up unto thee memorials unto, right, there unto thee, right? So it says, Ha Tazayabya Laka Tazayanyam Shamya. Right? Let's look that up. Verse 21. So that word natazab means to stand or to erect, right? Tazayawan, right, which is where you get the word Zion from. It just means memorial or a Salakia monument, right? In this case, it means a signpost, right? Or memorials or monuments, right? Which is these camps, right? Where a monument, where a form of remembrance, right? To cry out unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? It says there, Salakia, Shamya, or Salakia, says, make unto thee. It says the mararium, which it just means right, the word thamar, which is just means a Salakia, what is it, I'm bugging, which is this is easy though. Thamar. Damn, what the hell is it? No, I had it here somewhere. Thamar, a palm tree, right? In a certain case, right? For example, Joel 3:3, right? It says pillars of smoke. Thamarath Aishan, right? So it's in the sense of a pillar, high heap, right? Which is like in the form of the palm tree, right? So it says, make unto thee signposts, right? Which is what we're doing. We're bringing the two sticks together with the 12 tribe sign, right? The power spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakapadash, right? Signposts, right? That's Jeremiah, Salaki, Ezekiel chapter 37, right? Which is why it's good to go to reviews. Right? Ezekiel chapter 37, we just confirm that. Ezekiel 37. Yeah, Khan. Right? Signposts, markers, right? Which is in a way, right? The fringes are the markers, right? That's not the way unto salvation, but we wear the fringes, right, to camp, right, to show what these things mean, to bring back a remembrance, a memorial, right? So it says, set up unto these signposts. It says, place unto your mind to the highway, unto the way in which thou shalt go, right? Which Shathia Labka La Masala Darak Ha Lakathia Ha Lakath, right? Shatha means to place. Labka, your heart, right? Or into your mind, place into your mind. That's what we're doing, right? We're showing the way, the highway, right? To say what? Return, thou maiden, thou virgin of Israel. Shawabia Batawalath Yasha'ala. Return unto your cities. Return unto your cities these. Shabia al Aryaka, because the word Ayar means city, right? Cities is Arya, your cities, these, right? We're showing them, right, their prospective tribes, right? The prospective inheritance, right? That's deep. I didn't actually get that, right? But that's the spirit, right? Because something told me to break down this lesson, right? And it's the spirit that quickeneth, right? Right? Like the scriptures say, right? That the flesh profiteth nothing, right? And that's crazy because I didn't actually think I would actually, I didn't see that until now. And that's, Apostle Ramlab was recently talking about that, right? And I believe Elder Yashawamba, right? And they're both elders, so my respect to them, right? Starting with Elder Apostle Tahar and on down, right? It's part of being a watchman, right? You have to watch, right? And right, you got to strike the iron when it's hot, right? It's getting hot out here, right? Jeremiah 31 and 22, even until when um thou shalt waver, O daughter, O backsliding daughter, right? Adamathia, right? Because that word mathia means men, but it also means, right, until what time, right? Or in time, right? Or in due time, right? Or how long, right? Adamathia, tha, tha chamakyan, habath, ha shabah, shawabah. It's like shabah, right? Let's look at that. Verse 22. Right. So, like I said, the Greek, the Hebrew is not going to save you, right? Knowing all the Hebrew is not going to save you, right? But through the Spirit, right, I was blessed to, right, be able to um, look in these things, right? But my your first thought should be when you receive this understanding, go out on the highways and byways, right? But through the Spirit, I always been of the of those sorts, right? To seek out these type of things, right? Because the Lord put that spirit on me, right? But right, you come into this thing, right? Like I did, right? First thought should be, right? If you receive the understanding before even going into the Hebrew, right? Go out and teach, right? Can't waste your time, especially in these times, right? Just going into all these. Okay, what does every single Greek word mean, right? That's not what it's talking about, right? So the word hamak or habak means to go around, to turn away, to withdraw. Let's see if I got that. Hamak or habak. Habak. So it just means to embrace, right? And that's in the Torah. Hamak meaning the thigh figuratively or a curve, right? There you have it, right? Just means to curve or to turn about, right? In this case, right, means to waver, right? So it says, because he hath created the Lord to a new thing upon the earth, a woman shall compass a man, right? Kaya bara'a Yahweh, Chadasha ba'aratazah, Nakwaba, Tha Sawabab, Gabar. Right? Because, right, like our elders say, right, great millstone, that, right, this is twofold, right? Because Esau gives the woman, right, rank upon man in this society, right? Status, right? The ability, right, to wander, right? When the woman is supposed to be uh, caring for the child, right? The children, nourishing, teaching children. The woman is not supposed to be out about, right? The woman, right, is supposed to take care of the house, right? The man is supposed to do the right, how do you call it, the errands, right? The woman's not supposed to be out in the heat, in the cold, right? Running around with the children, right? Um, but it, like it says in Isaiah chapter 4, right? I believe that's Isaiah chapter 4. That ultimately, right, 10 women will take hold upon one man. Let's get that real quick. Lock it. Isaiah chapter 4 verse 1, and in that day, Salakia, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel, only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Right? So there you have it, right? And in time, right, the women are going to be flocking onto us. Right? Jeremiah 31 and 23, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, again they shall say, right, unto the word this in the land of Judah, right, and in their cities, right, upon their return unto their houses, right, may the Lord bless thee, right, which the abode of righteousness of the holy Mount Zion, of the holy mountain, of the Lord's holy mountain, right? Ka Amar Yahweh Tazabawath Alahaya Yasha'ala Awad Ya'abarwa Taha Dabar Chazah Ba'ratazah Yahawada Wa Ba'ayarya Ayar Salakia Wa Ba Aryawa Ba Shawabya Ata Shabbatam, right, meaning their habitation. Ya Baraka Yahweh Nawa Tazadak Har Hakwadash, right? When Jake is back into his right mind, right? Not in that exterminator mode. Terminator mode, right? That's what Jake is in right now, right? He's in Terminator mode, right? And that's spiritual, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger said, I'll be back, right? Jeremiah 31 and 24, and he shall return upon it Judah and all, and Salakia, and he will dwell and will dwell upon it, Judah and all his cities together, right? The husbandmen and those that journey upon the flocks, right? Wa Yeshabwa Baha Yahawada Wakal Aryawa Yachadwa Aquarium Wa Nasaiwa Ba'idar, right? The word Akar means a husbandman, right? It also means a dagger, figuratively. Or in the book of Genesis, Ma'akal, right, which is a knife. Jeremiah 31:25, because I will satiate the soul that is weary, and all the soul of those, right, who mourn, I shall fill. Kaya ha rawayathaya napash ayapa wakal napash da'aba malaathia. Jeremiah 31:26. Upon this I awoke, and I saw, and my sleep was pleasant unto me. Al za'ath ha quayatazathaya wa ara'a wa shanathia araba laya. Right, that word araba just means, right, the sleep being mingled, as in, right, you're half asleep, half awake, right? In the case of, in the sense of being out of it, right? Jeremiah 31:27, behold, the days are coming, saith the Lord, and I will sow unto the house of Israel with the house of Judah, with the seed of men and the seed of beast, right? Meaning the Lord is going to increase us, right? Give us concubines, give us land, give us cattle, the cattle of the nations, right? You know, Hana Yamayim, which it also means there the days will come, right? Hana Yamayim Ba'ayim Naam Yahweh Wa Zarayathia Atha Bayath Yasha'ala Wa Atha Bayath Yahawada Zarai Adam Wa Zarai Bahama. Jeremiah 31:28. And it will come to pass like which I have been watchful upon them. Wahaya ka ashar shakwadathia al yaham, because that word shakwad means to be alert, in this case to watch or to guard, right? To uproot them and to uproot and to break down and to pull down and to destroy, right? Which it says la nathachash wala natha taza wala haras wala ha abyad, right? Because that word, let's get that real quick. I want to prove my point real quick. Shata. Salakia. Tasha. See if I can find that. which is Athash. Right, you can compare that to root, which is Sharash. Or Slacky, that's not what I'm looking for. Bugging out. Let's see. To root. To pull up. Slacky. Fucking retards. Because this Safari always puts these different words, right? Let me see if I can just get that. That's the problem with the blue letter in the Safari. They don't always necessarily, right, have it on point. Right, let's just look up Nathash. Rocket. Let's get that. Alright, here it is. So Nathash, to pluck up, to root up. Right? Simple as that. Right? Just means to pluck up. Thatazah means to break down. Haras means to pull down. Abad means to destroy, to perish, to be lost. Right? And it says, and for evil, waha, wala, haraya, harai, right? Meaning evil or pain. So I will watch upon them to build them, to plant them, and to plant them, saith the Lord. Khan ashakwad al yaham, la banath, wala natai, naam Yahweh. Right? So where we're at, verse 29. Alright, almost there. Verse 29. In the days, in those days they will not say anymore, our fathers have eaten sour grapes, and the teeth of the children are set on edge. Right? Bayamayim, Bayamayim, Hahama, Haham, Hahama. In those days they, right, they will not say La'a ya Amarwa, Awad, Abath, Abatha, Akalwa, Basar. Basar means a sour grape. Washanya, right, Shan meaning teeth. And the teeth of the children, Banyam, are set on edge or blunted. Thakwayana. Let's look at that word, Thakwayana, which is verse 29. Salakia. Verse 29, which is a new covenant, which that word is Kwaha. Let's look that up real quick, see if I got that written down. If not, I'm going to have to write it down. So kwaha means dull, right? Or you can compare that to kaha, meaning dim, right? So it says, verse 30, because lo, a man upon his iniquity he will die. All men that eat sour grapes will be made dull his teeth. Kaya am ayash ba iwanwa ya mawath kol ha-adam ha-akol ha-basar thakwa yana shanyawa, right? Basically the sour grapes, right? The teeth being blunted, right? Because that's when your teeth get grinded, it's because you're in fear, right? You're always grinding your teeth. You're in distress. The sour grapes, right, represents the captivity, right? The curses, right? So, right, those that don't repent are still eating them sour grapes, right? They hear the word, but they don't give a damn, right? Because they're just right. They're stuck in their ways, in their old ways, right? They got a chip on their shoulder, right? They love to rebel, and that's all right, because they're gonna come back, right? And in the regeneration in the kingdom, right? They're gonna be all right. They're gonna live forever, right? Jeremiah 31:31. Behold, the days are coming, saith the Lord, which I will make it, and I will make to a covenant with Israel and to a covenant with Judah, a new covenant. Hana Yamayim Ba'ayim Naam Yahweh Wa Karathia Atha Bayath Yasha'ala Wa Atha Bayath Yahawada Baryath Chadashah, which will not be like the covenant which I have made with their fathers in the day which where they strengthen with the strength upon the hand I had brought them out from the land of Egypt. La'a ka baryath ashar karathia atha abatham bayawam ha chazayakia bayadam ha tazayam ma'arataza matazarium, which they have broke to my covenant, and I will be a husband upon them, unto them, saith the Lord. And though I was a husband unto them, saith the Lord, right? Ashar hama haparwa atha baryathia wa anakaya bayalathia bam bama naam Yahweh. Right? Because that word hama or hum means they or them. In this case, is they. Right? Which the Lord says, and though I was a husband unto them, because Bayal means possessor or Lord or husband. Right? Because the Lord, right, he lorded over us, right, by showing us, drinking us the wine, giving us the wine of astonishment in order to perfect us, the remnant, which is why the Lord said he's going to take that Baal, the word Baal, right, the name Baal out of our mouths. And we shall not call him Baal, but Ayashia. Right? Because that's a less harsher term for one that calls himself a husband unto a wife, because the Lord is comforting us, right? Because Baal is more of a possessor is more of a stricter term for husband. Jeremiah 31 and 33, because this is the covenant or contract, that's what the word baryath means, contract. Covenant is actually thawa, which also means mark, right? Which I will make with the house of Israel in the latter days, right? Unto them, saith the Lord, right? Kayaza'ath habaryath ashar akarath athabayath yasha'ala acharya hayamayim haham Naam Yahweh, saith Yahweh, I will place unto my law, right, in the midst, in their inward part, right, Nathathia Atha Thawarathia Bakwarabam, and upon their heart Wa'al Labam, and I will write it, right, and I will write it upon them, I will write it unto them, Kathabna, and I will be unto them a God, and they shall be unto me for a people. Wa haya yathaya laham la'alahayim wa hama yahaya wa laya la'aim. And they will not teach any more a man unto his neighbor and a man unto his brother to say, know the Lord, because all of them will know me, right? Wa la'a ya lamad wa aywad ayash atha rayawa wa ayash atha achyawa la amar dayawa atha Yahweh kaya kalam yadaiwa athaya. From the smallest unto the greatest, right, or the least unto the greatest, saith the Lord, because I will forgive their iniquities and their sins, and I will not remember them anymore, right? So it says, Lama Quatanam Wa'id Gadalam Naam Yahweh Kaya Asalach La Iwanam Salaki La Khata'atham La'a Azakar Iwad. Verse 35. That's beautiful, right? Thus saith the Lord, who gives the sun for a light for by day, Ka Amar Yahweh Nathan Shamash La'awar Yamam, for an ordinance of the moon and stars to give light unto the night. Chakwath Yarach Wa Kawakabium La'awar Layala, right? He stirs up the sea and disquieteth the waves. Say, the Lord of hosts is his name, right? Regai Hayam, right? Regai means, right, again, it means to blink, right? Or in a moment, right? In this case, it means to stir up the sea, right? Waya Hamawa, meaning to, Hama means to disquiet, right? Gal Yawa, meaning the waves, because Gal literally means a pile, right? Or a wave, figuratively. The Lord of hosts is his name, right? If these shall be removed, right, by a statue, right, these before me, saith the Lord, even the city of Israel, right, will cease from being a nation before me all the days, right, or for all time. Because that word mash or mawash means to recede or right, right, in this case, to be taken back, these statues, these declarations that the Lord is saying, right? He's declaring his omnipotency, right? Am Yamashwa Ha Hakim Ha Alha Malapanya Naam Yahweh Gam Zarai Yasha'ala Yashabathwa Mahayath Kawaya Lapanya Kal Ha Yamayim. Jeremiah 31 and 37, almost there. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, or Slakia, thus saith the Lord, if they could be measured the heavens from above, and searched out the foundations of the earth below, Ka Amar Yahweh, Am Yamadwa, Shemayim, Mala Ma'ila, Wayahakwarwa, Masadya Arataza, Lamata, even I will forsake, or Slakia, even I shall reject upon all the seed of Israel, right? Upon all of which they had done, saith the Lord. Right? So the Lord is challenging the wicked, right? He's saying if you can do away with the heavens and stars, and right, then I will forsake Israel. But you can't do that, Esau. You nations, you can't do that. You don't have that kind of power. Right? You're not built like that. Right? So it says Gum Anaya Amaas Bakal Zarai Yasha'ala Al Kal Ashar Ishwa Na'im Yahweh. Right? In Jeremiah 31 and 38, behold, the days are coming, saith the Lord, and shall be built the city, and shall be rebuilt the city for the Lord, from the tower of Hananiel unto the corner gate. Hana Yamayim Ba'ayim Na'im Yahweh Wana Banta Ha'ayar La Yahweh Ma Magadol Han Nael Shayar Hapana. Jeremiah 31 and 39, and will go out again, right, the line of measurement before, which is before beside the hill of Gareb, as in the forefront, and from the going roundabout of Goath or Gayath. Wayataza'a Iwad Kwawa Hamada Nagadwa Al Gabayath Garab Wanasab Gayatha. Verse 40, Slakia. And all the valley of the corpses, and the ashes, and all the fields, even until the brook of Kidron, even until the corner of the gate of the horses, from the east, shall be holy unto the Lord. They shall not be rooted up. They shall not be pulled down again forever. Ba'ashem Mashiach Yahushai. Right? Wakal ha'aimak ha'pagarium wahadashan wakal Shadamath, Ad Nachal Quadarwan, Ad Panath Shayar, Hasawasium, Mazaracha Quadash La Yahweh, La'a Yanathash, Wala'a Yaharas, Iwad La Iwalam. Right? So with that, it's Brother Yataz Dakiro Israel, Jeremiah chapter 31. Lord willing, you're ratified, and as always, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Kwame Yasha Allah, Badu Ball, Shalawah.